Finally, the Titans have received mercy. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Mike McCamey, and Titans finally won another football game. Hallelujah. I know that there are some people that are upset about this, like, why did we win this game, man? We got to go 1-16 and secure the first pick. But, you got to take a look at the situation, right? Callahan is potentially on the verge of losing a locker room if he loses this game. Team morale is way down. People completely lose faith in Brian Callahan and this entire front office, if we're being honest, even though I think that's unfair to Rand. But still, there are a lot of factors going into this game that if we lost, there would be a lot of bad things happening. Like, look at what the Jets are. Look at how the Jets are right now. Like, that's what a New England Patriots loss can do to you, okay? So, very happy that we dodged a big bullet right there. So, that's nice. Anyway, we got an episode to get on to. And again, this is going to be very similar to last time. We're going to be going through positives and negatives. Then we'll talk about a little bit of draft stuff. And that will really be today's episode. But anyway, I'm going to start out with the negatives because obviously I want to end off on a positive note because we won a football game. But anyway, first off, negatives. Lloyd Cushenberry out for the season with a torn Achilles. That hurts big time. Corey Levin did fine whenever he was in there. Like, nothing ridiculous. Like, he didn't change the wheel or anything, but he did fine. But losing a guy like that is really detrimental to this team's offensive line whenever it comes to how good they're going to be, because they were already not that great without him. So, imagine what they're going to be like. Or they were already not that great with him. So, imagine what they're going to be without him. He's been really good this year. I know that there are some people that are trying to deny that because, there were some people that said that we overpaid him because of the fact that he had only had one good year up to that point, and we were trying to hold on to that. And there were some people that were just like, I don't know who Lloyd Cushenberry is, therefore he must be awful, right? But he still has been very consistent for us. One of the better centers in the NFL right now, better than Aaron Brewer. If there's one thing that we made fun of people in the offseason for that we were right on, it was that Lloyd Cushenberry was better than Aaron Brewer, even though there were some people trying to say that Aaron Brewer was the better player. Anyway, hopefully he gets well soon. Hopefully he'll get back next year and, come back with a little bit more strength. But overall, not a good look for him, and I feel bad for the guy. Quandre Diggs is also out for the year. That's the other negative. He has had an amazing tenure with the Titans so far. He has been everything that we could have wished for a safety, and this secondary would have been so insane if all of them could have just been healthy at once. I mean, we saw what it was like when they were all healthy at once. They were doing really good stuff, but now we aren't going to see a fully healthy version of that secondary for the rest of the season, which breaks my heart. But hey, we got to enjoy it for at least 2 weeks. And it probably helps with the tank, if we're being honest. Which, even though this didn't help, again, we really needed it. So, Quandre Diggs out for the year. Well, his backup came in and played pretty well, but we'll get to him later. All right, next thing. This is a specific moment more than anything. If I can get it on this, I will. But Chig, come on, buddy. In the red zone, we're about to score. Mason Rudolph potentially has a 3-touchdown game because of this, and you drop the ball, and it leads to an interception. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a great throw by Rudolph, but it was, right here. Most tight ends in the NFL should be able to catch that ball, and that's a walk-in touchdown. And, again, that makes Callahan look 10 times worse because of it. People are going to give me a lot of crap for this, but I thought it was a fine play call. It would have been a touchdown if the pass was on point and if Chig had actual hands. And it would have been a touchdown and people wouldn't be complaining about that play call at the goal line. But now that he did drop that ball and it led to an interception, everybody's just like, man, that was a horrible play call by Callahan. He sucks. We need to fire him after year one, all that jazz that you hear about Callahan. But, man, I think that if they score that touchdown, this would have been on track to be a potential blowout by this team, which would have been something that we would have really needed. Let's be real. We would have really needed a big blowout. But anyway, moving on. Special teams is back on here again. Okay. I know there are people that are really mad at Callahan, and, I've been very defensive of him, but this is the one thing that I still don't understand. Why on earth is Cole Anderson still on this coaching staff? Like, there's no point in him being a special teams coordinator in the NFL right now. He still isn't drawing up great plays. Stonehouse hasn't been great, don't get me wrong, but like whenever Jaquan Jackson is going for a return and there are dudes unblocked, or whenever there are big returns happening every other play, you got to point it at coaching at some point. And I feel like that people have pointed the finger enough at him, so I won't say too much else. But hey, have you heard about what our old special teams coordinator Craig Aukerman is up to now? He's the defensive coordinator for Page High School. I can't remember. It's somewhere in Tennessee, obviously, but still. He's up in Page, and his defense has given up a total of 13 points on the year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that he would have been like some defensive mastermind or anything, but like it's like we had a potentially okay defensive mind on our hands, and we thought, nope, Shane Bowen. I mean, Shane Bowen's fine too, but like we were just like, nope. We're not going to hire him. Get that man out of here. Like, I don't think it would have been anything special, but still, I find it funny that he's running a really great defense down in high school. But anyway, next one, QB contain. Okay, so Arden Key was caught on an interview saying that they didn't have to worry about Drake May's mobility. Don't have any clue what Denard Wilson was smoking whenever he was telling the players that they didn't have to worry about that. But, oh boy, it was a real worry for us today. That day, I think he had like 8 carries for 90 yards or something. He almost beat us with his legs alone. That would have been hilarious, honestly. Like, because win or lose, like if we win, great, we win. But if we lose, draft position, like I don't really care either way at this point in the season. But it would have been funny if they would have won because of Drake May's legs. I'll say that. But anyway, like first off, Denard Wilson, what are we doing? Thinking that this dude's not mobile. It's not like in the games before this he had been like immobile. In the preseason he was pretty mobile. Like he's mobile. Like I don't know how else to put it, and I don't know how on earth a defensive coordinator can't see that. But anyway, yeah, no, just overall containing the quarterback to not running was one of our biggest problems today. Before we go into the positives, I want to go into Callie's presser real quick and talk about something that happened. I'll play the clip right now.
Just how badly did you guys need this today?
I mean, look at me. I needed it bad, man. It was, yeah, we needed it.
So, a lot of people were really upset about this, or not a lot of people, but there was a small minority of the Titans fan base that was really upset about this. Like, man, he's too emotional. It was only the Patriots. But, like, what y'all don't realize is that this dude has a leash on his head coaching job right now. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's his fault. But like AAS, Amy Adams Strunk, has been known to have a short leash for a lot of coaches. Like, yes, she gave Mike Vrabel 6 years, but in 2 years where he had a really bad roster, mostly because of John Robinson, she immediately fired him just because of those 2 seasons. Nothing else, just those 2 seasons. All right. And don't get me wrong, I still think it was the right move, but like there are a lot of owners in the league that would have been like, okay, he's still a good coach. He's going to man the ship if we get a roster around him and we can still make the playoffs. But nope, Amy Adams Strunk has a lot more expectations than that. The same thing with John Robinson. Like, look, okay, at the time, we didn't know how bad his first round picks were. That's just the truth. Like, we didn't know how horrible Caleb Farley was going to be whenever he was fired. We didn't know how horrible, Treylon Burks was going to be. We actually thought Treylon Burks was going to be fine. And we knew how bad Isaiah Wilson was. Let's be real. Like, he spent 3 games with us and got cut. That dude was a disaster. But still, looking back at it, he only had drafted 1 first-round bust up to that point. Looking back, at least, looking back, obviously, he drafted a lot of busts, but in the moment, he didn't draft as many busts. He got fired because of that 1 trade that he made. It took 1 trade for him to get fired. And don't get me wrong, it was a disaster of a trade, but, still, again, AAS, short leash. And it's obvious because, they're human. They are human. Callahan is a human being that is just trying to keep his job and support his family right now. That's something that most fan bases in the NFL don't realize. Don't get me wrong, it's his job and he's got to do a good job of it, but I don't know, man. It felt a little messed up to me that we were giving him a hard time for crying or potentially crying during a press conference because like that was a win that was really needed for his job security. If he would have lost this, then we would be talking about right now. We would be talking about, is it time to fire Callahan? So that was a big win for his head coaching security. But anyway, I don't know. It got me a little emotional, honestly. Anyway, moving on to the positives. Let's first start out with my man, Amani Hooker. Whoa, dude. Finally, that man showed up this year, and it was very exciting to watch him school that rookie quarterback. Like, don't get me wrong, the first interception, and, it was thrown straight to him. Like, let's be real. It was a Will Levis throw. That's the truth. But that second interception, that was good. Like, he came up, he ball hawked it, and it was the game winner. Like, Amani Hooker finally showed up and had a great game today, which is something that I feel like was very similar with a lot of the other players in this Titans team, at least. So, like, I don't know, maybe Will Levis finally shows up. I mean, I'm not expecting it, but like, who knows? Anyway, Amani Hooker, great game. The backup that I was referring to whenever I was talking about Quandre out for the year, that was Mike Brown. Whenever I first heard that he was on a roster, I was just like, wait, we have the not Minnesota. What was I thinking? No, we have the Sacramento Kings head coach on our roster. Like, that was the first thing that came to mind. But like, no, Mike Brown. I thought he was kind of like an NPC type player that was just kind of there as a backup. But like, no, he balled out. Like, he broke up a very important pass that probably would have been a touchdown if Drake May connects with him. Like, big pass breakup, had 6 tackles. Like, shout out to him, man. Like, I had no clue who he was going into the preseason, or heck, even going into the regular season, if I'm being honest with you. But he played an overall good game, filling in for Quandre Diggs. Okay, next thing, O-line, finally some improvement from that unit. And it was weird because, like, it was without Dylan Radins. We didn't have Lloyd Cushenberry for a good amount of the game. And right tackle, again, I want to quote Tic Tac Titans here, Locked On Titans. He said, it's basically a Joku and Leroy Watson taking turns being bad. Like, that's all that it is. But yet the offensive line gave enough time for Rudolph, and the passing offense looked decently competent, wildly enough. Overall, O-line played a very solid game, and again, Latham is still playing decent. Skronsky is good. It's just that people want to chalk him up as a bust because they want to see changes. But anyway, overall, O-line, solid game. Brunskill, congratulations on coming back and helping us get a win. Shout out to him. Corey Levin, again, shout out to you. And right tackle, you can just kind of stand there. Next thing, Tony Pollard. Dude, again, Tony Pollard has just been consistently good for this Titans team. He's been like the one positive part of this team that has stayed consistent, at least. I know I just repeated myself, but still, he has been a rock solid force. He's been very good. He has had more rushing yards than Sir Jonathan Taylor. Remember whenever that fan base was giving us crap about how much better Jonathan Taylor was than Tajay and Tony Pollard combined? Well, whenever Tajay comes back, they're going to be a deadly duo together. I can tell you that. But overall, Tony Pollard, very good game. Nothing new there. All right, next thing, NWI. I know my dad's a watcher of this show. I know that he will absolutely love that I have NWI in the positives because that dude, he showed up. He played really well, and it honestly makes me question why Callahan had Treylon Burks in. Like, I understand the fact that Treylon is a first-round pick on a rookie contract, and, we just want to see what we have, see if he'll have just a snap moment where he's just like, oh, snap, I got to lock in and start playing actually good football. But he didn't, unfortunately, and NWI has been significantly better. Okay, 3 more things, and then we're going into draft stuff. Big Jeff finally showed up. Hallelujah. Had like 7 pressures and a sack. Like, I'm telling you, like, Big Jeff is still a solid player. Like, I was starting to question it a little bit throughout the first few weeks of the season, but I don't know, man. He's starting to look like that same old Big Jeff that we knew. Anyway, Nick Folk's revenge game. I know that that's not like anything too ridiculous, but like he had 2 field goals, an extra point attempt, or 2 extra point attempts actually. So like, Nick Folk getting his revenge on the Patriots, who also, I believe, may have missed a field goal if I'm not mistaken, but I may be completely wrong on that. But Anyway, last thing, and then I'll be done. Mason Rudolph running this offense is proof that it can work. I'm just saying that right now. Like, I know that a lot of people will be like, oh man, even with the win, the offense still sucked. Like, we are one dropped pass away from talking about the offense putting up 27 and being like, hey, the offense looked pretty competent under Mason Rudolph. Like, we're one drop pass away from maybe thinking, hey, maybe Callahan does know what he's doing. And also, we are one hold on. Yeah, no, but like I said about that one dropped pass, like if the offense puts up those points, then we look a lot more competent. And it's 24 points instead of 20 points. Yes, we would have had to take away the field goal because it wouldn't have gone into overtime if we had scored that touchdown. But anyway, it would have been 24. Maybe the tide changes and we get an extra touchdown, making it like 31. I'm just saying, like, there is a chance that, like, we're talking about this Titans offense a lot differently today if that pass is caught. But still, Rudolph, again, had a good game. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That wasn't his fault, even though he could have hit him in the chest. But still, very good game from Mason Rudolph. And it's proof that this offense can work if the right quarterback is in there. Imagine what Callahan's going to be able to do with a dude that has good upside and is able to develop completely. Imagine what he's going to be able to do with an actual decent bridge quarterback like, I don't know, a Sam Darnold or a Joe Flacco. Like, just saying, that dude, that could be a very good sign for this Titans offense. But anyway, now we're going into draft stuff. Speaking of quarterbacks, my top 5 QBs, there's been a little bit of shakeup whenever it comes to this list. Okay, number 1, obviously, Cam Ward. 2, Shadur Sanders. Y'all have heard me blush about them. Same thing with Milrose upside and Quinn Ewers' a strong arm. And you've heard me complain about how he's questionable due to injury. But number 5 changes. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot handle the idea of Carson Beck being a top 5 quarterback in this class. Give me Garrett Nussmeier at number 5. He's not even like anything too amazing. Not that mobile, decent arm, but not anything insane. But, like, he is so much better than Carson Beck. I don't know what I was thinking these past few weeks, putting Carson Beck above him, even after the 3-interception game against A&M. Dude, Carson Beck makes it a usual thing to throw 3 interceptions per game. He is, you're going to hate this, he is the reason that the Dogs are not number 1 far and away this season. Like, he is the reason that they lost that Bama game. He threw those 3 interceptions, and then he threw the 4th to seal the game away. Dude, he's not good. And he has Georgia players to help him out. Like, he has a great offensive line, probably good weapons. I may need to double check that. And he has awesome running backs. I know that for a fact. And he can't capitalize on it. He almost let a 3rd stringer outplay him. It's ridiculous. So, he's off the list. Garrett Nussmeier's on here. Congratulations, Gary. I don't know how you made it on here, but anyway, top 5 right tackles. I actually did my research on these guys now. Number 1, Kelvin Banks. He has very good explosive power. He has great hands, but he does sometimes have foot speed problems. Like, sometimes he'll not get off the line fast enough. But number 2, Will Campbell. He's a big dude that has great balance. It's just he has inconsistent grip. Number 3, Josh Simmons. And experience on both sides of the line, so that means that even if, I can't remember if he's playing left or right tackle, but if he is playing left tackle in college football right now, we can very easily move him to right tackle. I know Bill Callahan loves that. He loves doing that with rookies. He also has a very good initial first step, gets off the line very well, and his big negative, though, is penalties. But hey, if he commits like a penalty or 2 every now and again, that's fine. All right, number 4, Wyatt Millum. This dude is ranked a lot higher on most things than this one. And don't get me wrong, I see it. Great pass protection, IQ is high. But the problem is, I'm sorry, I cannot buy into a West Virginia tackle. Like, I know West Virginia is a fine enough team, but, like, come on, man. They're playing ACC level talent. Wait, hold on. Are they in the ACC or are they in the Big 12? Either way, I think they're in the Big 12, but either way, it's not great competition. So, like, obviously, if he's this big genetic freak, he's going to dominate them. Like, hopefully, I'm hoping that he is a really good tackle and that he's just in a really bad conference. Like, it isn't even his fault that he plays against such bad competition, but it's just a knock on him because he chose that life by going to West Virginia. But anyway, last one, Cameron Williams, good in space. He's quick. Big problem is he may not even be a tackle. I don't want to go through another Skronsky situation where it was like we drafted him, we thought he was our left tackle, but then we realized, hey, maybe he's more of a left guard in the NFL. So like that's a little upsetting, but it is what it is. I'm hoping that he is a tackle in the league and that we can put him at right tackle, but overall tackle class is a lot better than the quarterback class. Let's be real. So if I had to choose between these two, I'd probably prefer going with like Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell in the first and signing a bridge and waiting it out for another year. But if we don't do that, then I'm fine with drafting a quarterback just as long as we have a bridge one, because all of these dudes, even Nussmeier, need to sit on the bench for at least 1 year before they get thrown in with dogs. Like they need to learn from a veteran, whether it's Joe Flacco, whether it's let me think, who else is there? Whether it's Jameis, I don't know if I would want. I'm not as high on Jameis as I was last week. Let's just say that. But whether it's Jameis, whether it's, there was another quarterback, whether it's even Rudolph, we bring back Rudolph and let him play a little bit and let him teach the young guy. But I really like Cam Ward, but apart from that, I just don't see that much greatness in this quarterback class. And I see a lot more greatness in the tackle class. And I know that Callahan can put whoever he wants at right tackle and make it work. But anyway, that's today's episode. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok all under the Titans Rundown if y'all want to go check those out. And that's all that I really have. So anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.